It actually really turned me off from wanting to do real estate at all.
Her first deal was like $2.6 million.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
And it was the first time I learned what imposter syndrome was. My mom is an independent broker, and so it was like, yeah, I'm gonna just work with my mom. It could be like a mother-daughter duo. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
I like started crying in my mom's car.
What is your definition of success?
I think no matter what, I think if I wake up happier tomorrow than I am today, I am more successful.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Winners Club podcast, where even when we don't win, we learn, and learning is a form of winning. I'm your host, Brian Tran. I got my co-host here, PJ Padua.
What's up, guys?
And we brought a real special guest today. A special guest because not only is she just jumping into a new industry, absolutely crushing it, bringing new energy, new light. She's young, and her situation growing up wasn't the most ideal for the success that she's having. Yet she was able to dominate, push through, and I just want to dissect that and break it down so that you, the listener, can kind of relate and just kind of get that, that fire that she has,
Yeah, heck yeah, man. I'm trying to spread the fire.
So, got none other than Yanni over here. Yanni, introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Yanni. I am one of the newest realtors here at 50 Hills. Really excited to be here today.
Awesome.
Too humble.
Very, very humble,
She came
Yanni.
in hard, guys, hard, okay? She is a part of 50 Hills, a real estate brokerage right here in San Francisco Bay Area, and her first deal was like $2.6 million.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow.
475. But
Okay.
that's very close.
Like a big, okay?
That's a big win, though. And
Yeah, my first deal as a realtor was like $300,000. But
that's good too, Brian.
I'm proud of myself.
A deal's a deal.
Yeah,
A
What
deal
you
is
guys
a
tell
deal,
me.
but I will say one thing. That when you deal with a buyer who can afford $2.5 million and a buyer that can afford only $300,000, it is different.
Yeah.
You need to walk the walk, talk the talk, and, I'm not going to lie to you, the people who are buying into 2.5, 3 million, 4 million, the ultra luxury, they want to work with a special someone.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Savvy.
professional, got to have the look, got to know what the hell they're talking about.
Yeah.
That's just the truth.
Yeah. Yanni's being kind of humble right now, but
Yeah.
we're gonna bring it all out and put it on the table. So, Yanni, just give us a small intro. I know you did, but let the audience know really who you are, what you do, and I know you do other stuff as well that I think is actually pretty cool. So, go ahead and just give us an intro.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you guys for having me.
Of course.
So as I mentioned, I'm a pretty new realtor. I got my license back in January, so it's only been about 4 or 5 months. And so there's a lot that I'm still trying to get to know and learn about the industry. Prior to real estate, I was working in tech. Here in San Francisco, it's kind of what everybody does. And so I thought that's something that I had to do also. I worked in marketing and operations and some biz ops. I kind of was all over the place. Real estate is definitely a much better fit for me because I got kicked to the curb many times by tech. I got laid off, or I've left my jobs at least 4 times. And so, I'm 28 right now, and I've had 5 jobs already, which is kind of crazy to think about. So real estate, I'm happy to be here. Outside of real estate, I have started pursuing DJing as kind of just a hobby. I started about a year ago, and I've started to play at a few clubs in San Francisco in the last few months, and it's been really fun. I've really enjoyed it, and it's nice to have a creative outlet outside of my day-to-day at work. So, yeah, that's a little about me.
I mean, the DJ side is everybody wants to be cool with the DJ, so think about that when you're getting referrals.
Yeah, maybe you're gonna sell Marshmallow a house or something.
Oh my gosh, yeah. There's a couple of DJs that are really famous. There's this DJ, his name is Choi Boy. Apparently he's also was a realtor.
Oh, really?
And I was like, damn, he's hella hot too. So I could be the hot female realtor DJ personality. Maybe one day we'll see.
Yeah, I think you can. I think it's just really awesome though. I just want to say you're pursuing something in business, and on top of that, you're pursuing something that you're passionate about, and I think that's an awesome way to go about it.
My thing is if I kind of look at you and I see the way that you uphold yourself, I would say you were made for this. You were destined for greatness almost. Were you always good at everything you did
No.
growing up, and like talk about that. Like,
I'm bad at a lot of things, man. I'm surprised that I'm actually like pretty good at things this year. It's so funny that you guys say that I carry myself a certain way, and I definitely do feel like I hold myself to this like false confidence as much as I can, right? Like when you are growing up, people tell you, fake it to make it, and that's something that I really hold, even if I don't believe it. I don't have a choice, right? You have to wake up and every day and just be the best version of yourself. And if you don't have a best version of yourself, you're gonna fake that.
Yeah.
And so that's the energy I feel like I try to bring all the time. And this year, starting to close deals and starting to get these gigs, I actually feel like I'm becoming that. So this mentality has always actually worked. But I would say growing up, things have been kind of challenging. I really struggled in school. I didn't actually finish high school. Like, I actually dropped out of high school.
No way.
When I
Great.
was like
Yeah.
16 or 17.
That's
I think
young.
I was like a sophomore. After my sophomore year, I was like, yeah, I'm just not going to go back anymore. 8 a.m. is quite early. Like, I can't do it. Even now, I don't come into the office till like 9 or 10 sometimes. I like my slow mornings still. And I love that real estate gives you that opportunity to have those slow mornings right now. But yeah, I just hated going to school. I hated waking up. I hated the kids in school. No offense. If you're watching from high school, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I don't like my high school friends either. So.
And
It's okay,
our
Yanni.
office is so close from my high school. I'm
Oh, really?
literally went to high school 10 minutes away from here. And so I just didn't really feel like school was motivating, or it always felt like everything I did had to have meaningful purpose to me. And learning like AP US history just wasn't really doing it. So I dropped out. I went to community college when I was really young. I spent a really long time trying to figure out what I wanted to major in, what I wanted to study, who I wanted to be, all of these things. And I think I was honestly feeling like I was just searching for a really long time.
wait, how does that work? When you drop out of high school, you can just go to community college?
So I took this like test they have in California. I forgot what it's called. It's like a GED, but you could take it when you're like 16.
Yeah.
So I took that. It's honestly like so easy to pass in my opinion. Like most people probably can do it. So I did that and I left. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm just going to go to community college. I'm going to sign up for only 11 a.m. classes and beyond and see where that goes.
So you were like 16 years old going to community college?
Yeah, I think I started when I was
Yeah.
like 17.
It's crazy. So like what everything that I'm hearing is
And your mom didn't care?
Oh, she cares. She cares. She cares for sure.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, it's not,
Yeah.
well, you dropped out of school to go to a more advanced school.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
overachiever.
Yeah, overachiever. What I want to like ask is, it sounds that, at the age of 16, it sounds like you were already like 2 years ahead of everybody that you
Yeah.
were like around, at 16, like where it sounded like you just, like you said, wanted to figure things out. What did you have that? Cause to me, that's drive. And did you have like, where did that drive come from? Cause at 16, that's such a young age to want to
know
do
that,
something
yeah.
further in your life than just hang out with your friends.
I think it wasn't necessarily like I had this motivation to do something great. It was more so, there's no world I can take this anymore. I hate it here. I
Yeah.
hate everything. I hate everyone. I'm probably really depressed right now. I hate like the life that I live and I can't take it anymore. And so in a lot of moments in my life, I feel like this huge change that I've taken has been the result of like, oh, there's absolutely no way I can ever do this again. I'm not coming back tomorrow. And they've been really drastic decisions that feel so calculated in the long run. And it's like, oh yeah, there were a lot of things that led up to this decision, but in the moment, it literally felt like, oh yeah, no, I'm just not coming back to school next week. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. I think you had like you had really big awareness that like as an kind of things that adult have, they're like, you know what? I don't want this for me right now. I'm going to do something else. I'm going to quit high school. So
It was just kinda
But you
like,
quit high school, but you had
Yeah.
a plan.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
exactly,
saying? So,
for
like,
sure.
She didn't just like, I'm going to stay home,
Yeah.
which is kind of like really unique. That's why I wanted and asking you. So at the time, did you have like a few steps? Like, were you already thinking a few steps ahead, or was it just like, let me quit this and then figure it out?
It was a little bit of both. I think I knew I wanted to, obviously still have a good life and be happy and be successful, but I was so lost on what that took. And so a little bit of it was like my foot's already halfway out the door. The other half of it was frantically looking for my next step. And so I knew that when I was leaving high school that I could take this test. After I took this test, I knew that, I had to go somewhere else. So I can either work, I can either go homeschool, or I can, start community college and figure out what I needed to do that. And so it was always kind of like, I don't know exactly what the next step is, but I know these are available steps to me. And that's how I kind of went about it.
2 questions. Obviously, what does success mean to you now? But at the time, at 16, quitting school, did you have a definition of success?
I think it was more just like, as long as I wasn't like on the streets, really. It was just more like, as long as I'm happier than I am right now, because I'm so unhappy with my life, like as long as I can build something that I can be proud of, whatever that is, wherever that is, with whoever, it was like, all I wanted was to not be here and to know that there was a better version of life. And that was success to me. And that's still kind of how I feel, right? Like, I joined real estate. I'm not 100% sure if I'll be here forever, to be honest. But, I know for now, I know that the future is going to be something brighter than what it is right now. And it's really good right now already. So can't complain.
Yeah.
Cool.
So it sounds like, at an early age, you did want some shape of like success for yourself. Did you have any moments in your life that really, you would say, kind of drove you to have that idea, or like shape that idea for you?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in a single family household. Like, my mom raised us by herself, and so I think most people who are first or second generation immigrants, they live in this kind of like survival where, success is just being able to be comfortable and live your life. And so I always was raised around someone who had that level of drive, and it's kind of weird if you like grew up around that and you yourself just don't have any at all. And so I think I naturally developed that sense of drive as an adult, where it was really important to me to kind of, build that level of comfort, to not have to survive in my adulthood.
Who was that person that showed you that drive, you said?
My mom.
Oh,
Yeah.
what does your mom do?
So my mom is actually also a realtor, surprise. She's actually a broker, and she's a very successful one also here in San Francisco. And so growing up, I watched her, pursue real estate. I was like 8 years old. I would sit in the office with her like 11 p.m. at night, watch her, sit on calls, go on meetings, send emails, do mailers, because back then a lot of these other tools weren't available. And on weekends, I would go open houses with her, go on showings with her. And it was just honestly such a grind. And it actually really turned me off from wanting to do real estate at all. Like, I have friends I just saw this weekend, and they're like, I can't believe you're in real estate right now, because I remember 5 years ago you're like, I would never do this, real estate sucks, this sounds so boring, you work so hard for what payoff? And so literally verbatim, someone brought this up. It was like a more childhood friend of mine, and so it's kind of funny that I'm here, because all of that did suck. It looked like it was just not the best job at all. But after being in my own like tech career for the last 4 or 5 years, I was like, it's not so bad. And like, what my mom did to be successful doesn't necessarily have to be what I do to be successful. And so that's something I've been trying to kind of unpack and learn this year as I grow my own career.
Yeah. I have so many questions because, hearing this is kind of like, I have kids and I'm like, okay, I want them to one day take over my business.
Right.
And so I'm listening and I'm like, well, okay,
What
do I not show them the hard work, or
Do I close my door?
or do I not bring them in?
Yeah.
So like, but somehow along the way, it brought you back into real estate. So I want to ask you, like, okay, so was it because the tech job sucked so bad that you're like, you know what? Or maybe you had more life experience where you're like, you know what? It isn't so hard, Like, dissect that a little bit more.
Yeah, so I think when I mentioned I got laid off and I left my job a few times, and I had a lot of breaks in my tech career, and for the most part, each time my mom would be like, why don't you do real estate instead? And I'd be like, yeah, maybe, like, I'll try it. And so, like, after each break, I would maybe help her with some showings. I would help her with an open house. And it didn't hit. Like, I didn't love it. I didn't enjoy it. And so I would go back to my next tech job, and I would get burned again, whether that was, not the right fit or a really toxic environment, whatever the case is. But the most recent time, I actually left my job on purpose. And I was just so burnt out. And I was just like, it was more of an accidental quitting rather than like I don't like this, I'm gonna try again. It was more like, okay, it's been 5 times now, like, girly, like, try something different, like, see what else is out there. And like, I think my mom was starting to slow down her business a little bit, and so she was doing yoga and she was kind of going on vacations and she started going on cruises, and I was like, mommy seems kind of happy. It's possible. And so I was like, okay, let me think this through, and I'll actually try my best to pursue it this time and really put myself out there. And over the course of time that you're in this like really toxic work environment, you're starting to see, wait, why can't I just build my own career? Why can't I just go to the gym whatever time of the day it fits my schedule? Like, why do I have to conform like this? And I think one thing you mentioned in the previous podcast between you and your wife was, your wife had a traditional 9 to 5 for a while. And you guys discussed, if I stay here year over year, my increase is like what, maybe 2 to 3% per year. Why would I do that? So
I think we calculated it. I think it was like, oh yeah, in 10 years you'll make $100,000. I'm like, fucking 10 years. 10 years. I said, oh my God.
Absolutely not.
Like, we're not.
There's no way.
Yeah, I think that's an amazing story, and I thank you for sharing. I think, the biggest takeaway that I'm hearing, and I can relate as well, is initially you saw the work that was being done and it didn't really attract to you, but what you saw afterward that changed your mind was like the result. You're like, oh, I like the lifestyle that follows with it.
But growing up, your mom, okay, I got 2 questions again. Growing up, did your mom, did you guys live like a very comfortable life? Like, did you like have a sense of awareness that, look, my life is actually kind of better than most?
I think it started really, really slow.
Yeah.
I feel like for us, it was like stepping stones, right? Stairs in some ways.
Yeah.
Like every 2 years or so, we moved into an exponentially larger home.
Okay.
Went from, a studio apartment to having a shared room with my brother, into having my own room, into having my own floor, into like eventually like,
nice.
It's like it just increased exponentially over years. And so, it was weird because it felt like a parallel to, my tech job, where it's like, the stepping stones in my tech job would be 2 to 3% increases, whereas for my mom, it was double the size house each time that we were living in. So it was honestly just really fast growth.
Yeah. Did your mom talk about money growing up?
A lot, yeah.
Yeah? Like how much she made, how much like she invested, like just kind of, you knew what was going on with the financials in the household.
Kind of. I think growing up, not necessarily. As an adult now, she shares a lot more.
Yeah.
So I know a little bit more about her finances. And it's more so the emotions that come with it. You know, my mom loses a deal, she still gets sad. Like she was sad recently over something that didn't go right. And she was like, I went on a really long walk today because I don't feel right. And it's like so funny that it still affects her. But when she has like a good like couple of closes in a month, she's like, guess what I just did? And she'll like wave a check at you. And it's just like the funniest thing how for my mom, like her successes and her failures in this career still affect her. So I think that's really nice. I think to have like those kinds of emotions and to be like challenged that way pretty late into your career, I think is really important. And it's just like goes back to, you know, being in tech, you're just doing the same shit really every single day for the rest of your life.
Did your parents talk about money growing up? Like, did you know what was going on in the household?
Not really, to be honest. Like we didn't really talk about money like that. Like I didn't really witness, you know, maybe like positively about money, like like, you know, wealth and this, and you know, you should buy properties or something like that. Like, I didn't really get much of that in my household, so that's just me though.
I remember my dad used to let me count his money.
Oh, did he?
Wow.
Like, cause like he would drive taxi, so he'd come home. He would drive like from I don't know like 8 p.m. to 3-4 in the morning.
Yeah,
and then he wakes up and then gets us ready for school or whatever. Yeah. So while he's in the shower, like he'd go count the money, see how much I made last night. Yeah. And then like I just would count it. And like, okay. And then I got in my head, I'm like, oh shit, today was actually a good day. You made $800. Yeah. And then the next day, like, you know, some days it'd be like $400. I'm like, oh damn, like that wasn't good. And he goes, yeah, it was a slow day. Yeah. And I don't know, like he didn't really go too deep into the finances. I didn't know like exactly how much the mortgage was and what the overhead was every month. But I was just like, okay, well, you know, you kind of do basic math. And I'm like, not old, but I got like, I don't think it was like third grade, fourth
Yeah.
grade. You know how to do multiplication.
Yeah.
So you're like 30 days. He made on average like 500. He made like 15 grand.
Yeah.
Taxi drivers made bank back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before Uber, they were making bank because he drove yellow cab, and then he
People like
he had the medallion. He owned a medallion, and he would rent that medallion out like part time. So like somebody,
Yeah.
that taxi drove 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
He just took one shift, and then there was a morning shift. Mm-hmm. So then I was like, okay, then how much are you making in the morning shift? He goes, like, they pay me $100 a day to use my medallion, right, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So it was like $3,000 a month.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, my dad's making pretty decent money.
You're
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna be a taxi driver.
But somehow,
when I'm older.
but, you know, like, but somehow but obviously now I know now that it wasn't $500. It was like less. Like some days,
Yeah,
it'd be
well,
like,
the pro- I mean,
200,
you're not gonna be like 6 years
300.
old, like, yeah, what's the P&L
No,
statement?
No. And then, you know, the cars broke down a lot.
Yeah.
And then, like, you know, you always have to do that. But I just remember, like, I think that was so much value in knowing the household and then not like blowing it, because he'd be like, you know, this week he'd take you to go fix the car.
Yeah.
I would go to see his somewhere on Geary
Yeah.
Street, and then he would pay the insurance.
Yeah.
But I'm asking because I'm like, you know, your mom kind of showed you that lifestyle, so that at least does that help or hurt when it comes to wanting to take over the business?
Yeah. I mean, well, just first off, before we, go
Yeah.
to the question for Yanni, I think it does help. I think it does mold, the your child, or however you're with what you're showing them. Like, with you for the money, and then you guys kind of saw the money. Like, a story for me is not, I never really remember like things like that too much about money, but I remember one day, like, my mom was, I asked my mom, like, hey, like, should I be a nurse like you? She was like, nah, you should do what makes you happy. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna do that. So that's kind of like, it kind of fast forward. That's kind of why I think I was driven to doing like videography, something I really did like, and trying to make money like out of that. So, in a sense, like, we're all kind of like relatable in that, sense with what our parents told us.
She said, go and be happy. Okay, that's pretty
My
awesome.
brother, actually, like my younger brother, he's 2 years younger. It's so funny because I think he's one of the most hardworking people I know too. But he pursued his dream. Like, he works for the MLB. Like, he lives in Chicago.
cool.
He works for the Cubs, and like he works like 12+ hour days, and he works really hard. But he chased his dream, and so it's really funny to see kind of how, you can have two kids who took life very differently, but still, I guess, like, have the same mentality when it comes to like the value of hard work. But yeah.
For sure.
Man, but hopefully one day he rises up in the ranks. But I'm just thinking, like, he probably doesn't get paid much, huh?
Nope.
Yeah, I figured.
But he's happy.
I was
He's
money.
happy.
I was money driven.
It depends. Well,
I was money.
Yeah, but it's the
Money,
thing.
money,
It's
money,
like,
money,
it's
money,
the
money.
environment. It's the
Feeling the
environment
stress.
thing, right? Like, people, move up and change their environment, and that's where you get things. Like, when you're young, all your environment is, it's like your parents, what your
But
parents
they were
tell
in the
you.
same environment.
I know, but like, it's,
Her and her brother,
but
it's
they both
crazy.
took like the hard work thing, right?
Yeah,
the
yeah,
hard
yeah.
work
Yeah.
thing. And then, whether or not he could be happy, or he might hang out with like, Yanni more and you more, and then be
True,
like, what, let's turn up, let's make some more money.
Yeah.
But yeah, just quick little side note about parents. And
I mean,
It
I
is
know, I know
interesting.
some of our listeners have kids and stuff, so this
For
is
sure.
always a question for me. I'm like, man, how do you raise these kids correctly?
yeah.
You know?
Let's take a quick little break. We're gonna thank our sponsors right now. So Brian Trent, please go ahead and thank our sponsors.
Want to give a huge shout out to the VAHub.com for sourcing all the beautiful VAs that help with our organization, that help with running all our companies, really, and just assisting and even editing and all that stuff. So big shout out to the VA Hub. Now back to the show.
All right, Yanni. So loving how the story's going so far, and now I feel like the listeners are excited to hear about you beginning this journey as a realtor. And to be honest, it's still kind of fresh.
Yeah,
I
it's
remember you
super fresh.
come in the office like really not too long ago, like 5 months ago, like you said. But
Not even,
right?
not even.
So-
2 months.
pretty fresh. But I want to hear, like, how was really the beginning of your journey, and like what was your mindset going into stepping into becoming a realtor?
Yeah, I mean, I talked a little bit about my tech journey. It was rough. And so I was like, well, what am I going to do now? And, I mentioned, my mom's in real estate. I have this great backing. I can learn a little bit. I'm ready to switch careers, but what am I going to do? Go back to school, go work in biotech? Absolutely not. Like,
Yeah.
so this was like an easy, like, solution. I was like, I've had some experience now talking to people in my previous jobs. I've had some experience looking at what sales look like, and I don't know if I could do it, but like, let's try it. Let's give it a year. So my thing was like, I'm going to get my license and do it for a year. And so I spent some time. I shadowed my mom for a while. I got my license in January and I tried to work under her. My mom is an independent broker. And so it was like, yeah, I'm going to just work with my mom. It could be like a mother-daughter duo. It's going to be great.
Yeah. Totally changing, honey.
Oh, yeah, like, incredible. It's going to be wonderful. And
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like doing these open houses and I was helping her with her, projects. And I just like realized it wasn't what I expected it to be. I was ready for the potential that she might not be the best fit for who I work with. They say it's really hard to mix, family and business. It's really hard to work with your parents. It's really hard to work with your mom, especially if you're a daughter.
Yeah.
And I found myself just like really struggling with that. My mom and I are very similar in some ways. Like we both have clearly some drive to work really hard and we both are very independent people, but that comes to a fault. Like we really struggle to communicate with each other and she has this like way of working so independently that she doesn't really have the ability to teach me. Or it's not that she can't teach, it's that she cannot teach me, specifically her daughter. And so I was trying so hard to like make it work. And I think I just reached a point after the first 2 months where I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like I like started crying in my mom's car and I was like, I'm miserable.
Crying in my mom's car about my mom.
She's driving like, what the?
While my mom's
Thank
driving
God
her.
you have a Tesla, so you don't have to like look at the road right
Oh,
now.
my God.
But I was just like, I can't do this. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to work here anymore. Like, I don't want to like do this. And in my head, I'm like, I don't want to disappoint you, but also I'm just like, look, if I'm gonna give this a year and this is 2 months and this is already my like natural reaction to something, I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna make it another 10 months without like literally jumping off
Yeah.
a bridge or something. Like I can't do this.
Yeah.
Oh my
And
god.
so it was like a very interesting point because I mentioned, the last time I had this kind of reaction was when I quit my tech job. I was exacerbated. I was like, there's no choice but for me to quit. When I was in high school, I was like, I'd rather literally not wake up tomorrow if
Yeah.
I have to go to high school tomorrow. And it was like one of those points where I was like, I need to do something about my life and my career and try something even though the world is really unknown. And so I was like, I'm not working with you anymore. I will, still stand by you and I'll help you when you can, but I need to find somewhere else to learn from other people. Like I can't do this. So I went on the internet, I went on the Instagram, and I just looked for brokerages. I looked for realtors. I looked for people who looked like me, and I found 50 Hills. And so I joined 50 Hills. It was a very easy yes. I was literally in this room. I basically called, and Randy Garcia picked up, and he was like, hey, why don't you just come in today? And I was like, sure. And he came in honestly at a really good time, right place, right? Like I was exacerbated. There was no world where I was going to wake up and work with my mom again. He was like, come in today. Let me fix that for you. Not knowing this backstory at all.
Yeah.
And I came in and, he talks a little bit about this like interview we had where I was like, I had this drive that he saw and I was like, oh, I don't really know if I see the drive that I brought in that day. I was just like, I want to work somewhere else. And he was just like, yeah, you came in, you said you wanted to sell 20 houses. You want to do all of these things. And it was like crazy. And I was like, oh yeah, it was because I just had a mental breakdown yesterday.
I was just crying with my mom.
I was crying over my mom.
Yeah.
So that was the story.
Yeah.
And, since then it's been
Awesome.
great. Like
That's awesome. Like I think why I really like that story because it's from the failures, well, not even really failures, right? But like the bumps in the roads with the losing your tech job and then being frustrated, like working with your mom, like leaving high school, like it's kind of everything was kind of like history repeating itself. You were
Right.
kind of in a very similar situation, and then I think you making the action to basically break away from like your mom and do this was just you saying like, Yanni, I'm gonna do my own. Like I'm gonna go on my own path and I'm gonna get what's mine. And that's why I think it's like really, a really powerful story. That's what I see.
What was it about working with your mom that made it so hard? Like,
I think that, after 5 years of working on teams, I needed to be on a team.
oh, right. Because your
Yeah.
mom's always been solo, bolo.
Yeah, girlie's
For
a
as long as
solo
I've
bolo
known her,
queen.
she's just solo.
She does
Oh, you know her
everything
too?
herself.
Yeah.
Dude, everybody knows mom.
No, because she was in SF based, and SF I
Yeah.
was based in SF too. And I just remember like a couple deals transaction.
Yeah.
I never done one with her, but like she always had like the sunset ones, and like
Yeah.
she kind of did it this specific area. And I just remember it was always her.
Yeah.
Like she didn't have any other agents, and
Yeah.
Yeah, she never grew a team either.
No, she doesn't want to work with people.
Okay,
She
got
was
it.
just waiting for me to join real estate just to lose me after 2
Yeah.
Yeah.
She still has hope that I'll come back. And, that's not, like, impossible. But, yeah, I just felt like working with my mom was challenging because I wanted to work with other people. And my mom is very traditional. She's done real estate for nearly 20 years. And she has things that work really well for her, but that doesn't mean they're going to work well for me. Like, I really wanted to grow my social media presence. I really wanted to have online branding. Like, I genuinely enjoy marketing with the minimal skill set that I have. Like, I try my best to post content and post content that's authentic to myself, like an ASMR home tour or something.
You do great.
Really
You do
silly.
great, to be honest. Like, I think it's
Well, because like there's two ways to get business. You either attract or you go hunt for it, right? And I think her
Right.
mom is more of a hunter. Cold call, make $100 a day, go on an X amount of appointments.
Yeah.
And it works, but it is tiring and it takes a toll on you. But definitely, I think your method and what you're seeing with the team is that we attract, we also go hunt, but
Right.
you do both. You don't just do one.
hell yeah.
Exactly.
That's kind of interesting, But side note, I'm actually excited for the journey because I think I've proven that you can work with family. For those of you guys who do not know,
Yeah.
okay, I work very closely with my nephew, aka the Brandon 5000.
5,000.
Okay, the Brandon 5000 is amazing. Like he's
amazing,
he's a
yeah.
machine.
He's the guy.
And so we work very well together because, number one, I know what he's good at. I know what I'm good at. And we just set out clear roles, clear goals. And I treat him fairly, right? I'm his uncle, but I don't go around and be like, you will respect my authority.
Sure. You've never done that. You've never
I don't
done
do that, So like Brandon's a leader.
Yeah.
I try to create roles where, he dominates and he shines, right?
No.
And so same thing with Jonathan. Jonathan's actually my little cousin.
Yeah.
Okay, I put, and this is for the listeners. I think what attributes to my success working with family is like you just set clear expectations and you don't micromanage the shit out of them.
Yeah.
And sometimes you want to be like, yo, bro, I'm your big uncle. You better do it my way. No, sometimes you gotta let them stumble, fumble, lose a client or two that you gave them.
Yeah.
Sounds salty.
And then you be like, okay, hey, did you learn the lesson? But you don't rub it in and you just
Yeah, for sure.
Especially because I've seen, in my family, like my brothers and stuff, they be yelling at their kids sometimes. And I'm like, no wonder your kid don't want to work for you, bro.
Yeah.
Like that's toxic.
Yeah.
You have no boundaries. Like keep that shit at home or keep business and your personal stuff separate.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just my 2 cents.
No, I think the micromanaging,
But people say I'm a good communicator too.
Yeah, but I mean,
That's
even
why.
that's big because, like, I think just the reason why working with families sometimes is hard because people
They don't want to communicate.
that too, and like
Yeah.
there's a sense of like comfortability
Yeah.
with that said person, so you always put that.
My thing
inside.
is,
If you take
if
it out.
you come
it's
to
the
our
best.
office, I'm comfortable with everybody.
Yeah,
I crack all the jokes.
yeah,
I am HR.
Yeah.
But I don't even know what the but is, PJ. I mean, I crack all the jokes. I'll be pushing the boundaries.
You
But why does it
do.
work here?
I don't know, man.
Because I know which boundary not to cross.
Oh yeah, for sure. I
I don't
that's great,
cross
yeah.
North Korea's boundary.
Not for sure.
I
mean,
I'll just cross the U.S. and Mexico border.
my
No, yeah, I think that's good. It does work. I mean, you just can't, at the end, like you said, at the end of the day, when you're trying to teach a lesson or have something across, like you don't treat them like a superior, or whatever. Like
No, I like
cousin
my,
to
I like-
cousin.
I like
or-
my analogy better.
Okay, fine.
I'll cross the U.S. and Mexico border, but I won't cross the North Korea and South Korea border. One is more dangerous than the other. You know what I mean?
All right, I like it.
One will actually erupt and create World War III, right? The other one, nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
See, so that's you guys get it now. That's the kind of level of boundaries you need to understand in your workplace.
I'm gonna ask Brandon 5000 if it's easy to work with family next. It's gonna be a different answer. No, I'm just kidding.
Loves it. He loves
All
it.
right.
He's still here?
Yeah, he's. I mean,
Yo, it's been like probably 6-7 years strong. He's still here.
okay,
He didn't leave.
okay.
Let's get it back to Yanni.
Brian had to get some shit off his chest for sure.
I'm a good boss, right?
Yeah.
Right.
right. Yanni, so like, let's talk about like this first deal that you had, because recently you just had, as we said in the beginning of the podcast, a really big deal. Like, how did it feel, and like, how did it feel like working up towards it? Do you feel like you really had to push the limits? Was it easy to you? Like, let's talk about that.
Yeah, definitely. So my first deal, it was honestly really exciting and it was really big. And I was kind of definitely thrown into it. You know, I think my like successes in real estate so far have been very, in some ways, at the right place at the right time. A little bit of luck, a lot of work. But I'm grateful. I think I didn't really have time to prepare for this. And the client that I worked with, I met them on a Tuesday. I showed them property on a Wednesday. They fell in love with one of them. They looked at the disclosures, made an offer on Thursday, and then we made an offer and then it was accepted on Friday. So within a 4-day period, I went from never having done anything, never reading the disclosure, never even knowing what, furnaces are into writing an offer and having it get accepted. And so it was just really fast. And I felt, a little bit ill prepared and a little bit on edge, or just kind of like I was thrown into a tornado. But the clients I had are really great, and I still keep up with them now, going to their graduation party in 2 weeks.
Nice.
It's a pool party, so I'm excited.
They have a pool at the house you sold them?
No.
Oh,
in
okay.
their other house. In their other house in
Where's
Manteca.
that? Oh, dang.
Yeah, so I'm very excited for that. It's like north, south,
Manteca,
west.
is that where I was yesterday?
It's right around where we were at yesterday.
Oh, Jesus.
I don't really know where it is.
Yeah,
I'll
they
find
taught you.
out when I go.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're really great clients. And I remember specifically being in office on a day that they were going to write this offer. They were having all these questions about the disclosures. And I was sitting here like, I don't know how to answer them. And so I looked over, Alex was in the office, he was one of our founders on 50 Hills. He literally sat down with me, with my clients, all on the phone in a quiet room. And we went through line by line the disclosures, and he helped us. And he explained everything, and he made me look like I'm, still in a positive light, not like, oh yeah, she's brand new, by the way. It was so helpful. And Maria in our office taught me how to do comps within 10 minutes at 5:30 in the afternoon. And from there, I was able to kind of successfully lock that offer in. And I just felt so supported that day. I was so stressed out. I had a fitness class I missed to do this. And
Hey, it's worth it. It's worth it. Missed that
so
fitness class, yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah, and I just remember being like, damn, if I were doing this, on my own, if I were doing this with anyone else, it wouldn't be like my mom wouldn't have helped me. It wouldn't be like I'd be doing it alone. But it was so nice to feel the support of people who barely knew me, because I had been with 50 Hills for maybe 2-3 weeks at the time.
Yeah.
And so I felt really supported. I was able to kind of get that going. And through that process of closing the deal, I was able to rely a lot on my team for support. I know you were out of town for most of this transaction, so no Brian was involved. But Brandon 5000.
Brandon 5000.
Brandy, they were so supportive. I felt like you can see my phone log of how many times I was ping pong calling them back to back. And I just felt really supported, but I still felt like I was learning a lot. And so we were able to close that after 2 delays. And, it was nice. I think ultimately what it was is not necessarily the information that I got, but the moral support. Because I was panicked constantly and constantly freaking out, what do I do, what do I say? And I just felt so supported, and that wasn't something that I could get independently. It's not something I could have gotten in a way that spoke to me if I was still working with my mom. I had to hear it from other people, and I had to have more than just one person supporting me. And so that closed, and since then it's been really nice. I'm still learning how to get more deals. I'm still learning how to kind of lead gen, but that first one really propelled my confidence that real estate is the right place. I do find myself saying that, I'm going to be here for more than a year now rather than under a year, like I said previously. So, yeah.
You said that you were lucky, but you also said you were in the right place at the right time because you work hard. Did you feel like, oh man, this was a fluke, like a one-off?
Sometimes, yes,
Yeah.
but it goes back to what I initially said in the beginning of our conversation. Everything that I try to do is, fake it till you make it, some false confidence.
Yeah.
And then if you just do that, live in your delusion a little bit, you will believe it. And so I do think that a little bit of it is luck, right? I was in the right place at the right time, but I also felt like the more work I put into it, the more I read
Bingo.
about the things, then the luck that I was given was also earned. Like
Yep.
I had these tenants who were really interested in this thing called a tenants in common, and I'm so new. I don't even know what a furnace is, but I spent like all night reading about what it is. I asked everyone in the office what it is. Like I spent so much time to basically be an expert in this specific subject in order to appeal to that specific client. If I didn't do that, that client still wouldn't work with me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I feel like a little bit is imposter syndrome, but I do feel like the steps I've taken since kind of help alleviate that feeling.
The harder you work, the luckier you get. And
Right.
so, I mean, don't just, I want to let you know, like, it wasn't luck. You just work hard. Like, you take every open house that's available. You basically take every opportunity to be in front of a buyer or a seller. And so naturally, you're going to get, every now and again, you're going to get one where it's like 4 days. You meet them in 4 days, you're going to get a deal. So I used to think like, oh man, like that this is a fluke. Because I had a handful of those. And then it happened again. Then it happened again. Then it happened again. I'm like, oh shoot, why is that? Well, because I freaking show up and I work.
Yeah.
So, people listening out there, like, you want to get lucky? Huh? Keep working. Keep doing what you're supposed to do, and the luck will come. That's it.
Yeah. Amen.
So keep at it, Yanni. I want to talk about imposter syndrome real quick.
Yeah. Let me ask a question. I want to ask a question.
Ask it.
Yeah. So I just want to ask, like, for you, Yanni, like as Yanni, the person, right? Like, what are your biggest struggles, throughout this journey? I know you did mention imposter syndrome. Like, is that something big, like, for you?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, my career and my life has been pretty unconventional. I think a lot of, first gen immigrants, first like single family households, you have people who come out of that feeling like they don't really belong in places. I actually dropped out of high school and I got into UC Berkeley.
Damn.
Wow.
And I really don't know how still. Like I got in with like a 3.3
Well, your
GPA.
story is pretty unique. I think whoever
Yeah.
read that was like, dude, yeah, you're smart.
Yeah, get her in.
She didn't care about prom and all that stuff. She just said, I'm going right to college.
Yeah.
Right, but I think getting in, and I remember being at orientation, they have one for transfer specifically. And it was the first time I learned what imposter syndrome was. And it was, feeling like you don't belong or that you didn't earn where you are because you feel so out of place. And that feeling carried through Berkeley because it was like, oh, it's something that everyone else experiences. And then when I was in tech, I was like, damn, I'm trying so hard to fit in, but I don't really fit in. Like, it's really tough. And then when I left and went into real estate, it was like, well, I work with, these people who are not my mom, but I grew up with like, my mom as a realtor. Maybe people out there think that anything positive or any success I have is because of her when it comes to, like my DJing hobby. Like a ton of my friends and people in my life are DJs. And there's, I always wonder if people think that the opportunities I have come from that or whether it's because I'm actually doing the work to earn it. It was always this concept in my mind where everything that I do, because it was either unconventional or I had people in my network who participated in it, that I have to prove my worth and I have to prove that it was earned and that I wasn't just lucky.
Yeah.
And so I always say that the successes I've had are a little bit lucky, but that I put in the work to make sure that the luck was earned.
Yeah.
But, it's still there, I think, sometimes. The feeling of like, well, did I actually do anything right? Or it's just something else or someone else that helped me.
Yeah. Well, what makes you feel better about, imposter syndrome? Because I know you said, you feel a little bit better. Like, what helps you kind of get over it?
I think this whole fake it till you make it persona. I think that, having a fire personality and
Definitely
That's
fire
right.
personality.
That's right.
and just kind of, making people like feel good and like making sure that the people around you have a positive, like, experience when you're with them.
Yeah.
And, I think that goes a long way.
Yeah.
Like, I can't change who my mom is. I can't change who my friends are. And I can't change, like, where I've been and when I've been there or how I got things. But I can control, like, how I make people feel. And I can control kind of, the energy that I give off. And I think ultimately, even if those experiences weren't 100% earned, people will still have respect for me because at the end of the day, I'm not a piece of shit to be
Yeah,
around,
that's right.
right?
Yeah.
Well, but the thing is, like, okay, you bring up your friends being big DJs and stuff like that. I mean, isn't that what that's what people always say, your net worth.
Is your network
Yeah.
or net worth?
And one of the, you guys
But-
get the
Something
point.
like that.
Yeah, but-
it's a tongue twister. But that's what I'm saying. Like, yo, you built those relationships.
Yeah.
That's like, that
Yeah.
wasn't just given.
No,
that
for
was
sure.
earned too. You
Yeah.
gotta actually be liked by these people.
Yeah,
to want to
exactly.
be helped by these people.
Exactly.
Right.
So
Right?
I would say so too. Like the whole imposter syndrome. It's like you were the one who took the effort to go, build these relationships with one person. And just because that one person shares you to another person, I would do that too. Be like, oh man, like this person's like really like I owe it to him for my success, but it's really like you as a person. Like Yanni, if you sucked, I don't think anybody would like want to hang out with you. Like to be
yeah.
honest, and you wouldn't be where you're at if you suck. So it's like your own doing is what you got you here, right? And yeah, like I that's the whole fake it to make it thing too. Like I just want to like touch on that. Like I kind of don't like that. Like the way I like to view it is more of just like embracing who you want to become, right? Because I feel like the fake is so like the fake it till they make it. Like I used to say that, but I tell myself now like I'm just embracing who I'm meant to become. Like I'm embracing my future self, right? Like and it's really easy to, especially like for say like a realtor, right? Like just new realtor. Like what do you have to do? You have to tell people like I'm a realtor, but like I don't even have any deals.
I don't know what a furnace is.
Exactly, right? Like I don't even know how to read these comps, but I'm supposed to tell people, everybody, like I'm a realtor. So I understand where that comes, but it's just like, you're just prepping yourself, right? Telling people like I'm new, I'm coming in, and this is who Yanni is.
Yeah, it's definitely not like I wear like a $10,000 pair of shoes when I can afford a $20 pair of shoes. Not that kind of thing.
That's
different.
That's different.
That's
you know?
right.
Yeah, that's not good.
So different things, not material, but sometimes you still gotta dress the part. You gotta look good. You gotta
Yeah,
talk,
for sure.
Talk the talk. But definitely like, I agree with 100%. I like that a lot, PJ.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Thank you, man.
You're embracing who you're becoming.
Yeah.
Reframe your thoughts.
Why you gotta say it like you do? I'm rating.
That's how you sound in my head.
Yeah, I know. I sound like that too in my head, to be honest. Oh man, that's awesome, man. Well, honestly, like just for me to say, like you've been doing great. Like again, like ever since you came in the office, I know everybody could agree that you are basically on fire. Like you have this self-confidence about you, and we all have our struggles too, but I think the way that you carry yourself is very inspiring and does help other people as well. I want to ask this question. Like Yanni, I know you kind of mentioned something earlier, but let's go deep into it. And I want to ask, like, what is your definition of success?
Oh my gosh. I think that hasn't changed a lot since I was like, in high school. It's like, I can't wake up tomorrow and do this again. It's like just being happier than I am right now, whether that means financial success of being able to afford like 300 homes, or whether that's, personal success of being able to have strong relationships with people around me, to be, to have, maybe kids one day, or 100 Pomeranians. I have one right now, so I need 99 more.
Yeah.
Just, it depends. I think no matter what, I think if I wake up happier tomorrow than I am today, I am more successful. If that means like one day I give up all of my possessions and live like on a remote part of the world and I wake up every day happier, then that's that. But I want to be able to have the means to do that and make that decision. So for now, that's coming to work every day and closing more deals and having the financial means to kind of support being able to honestly just do whatever I want to support being happier. So we'll see. Hopefully that's the case. Right now, it is the case. I'm happier today than I was yesterday. Happier today than I was 3 months ago. I'm definitely happier today than I was when I was working in tech. So I think we're on the right track.
That's perfect. That's a great answer.
Yeah.
And it's always going to change. I like that, it's you're not tied to one thing.
Yeah, and it's not tied to the money thing. Just
that's the problem with people. Like they're like, this is gonna make me happy.
Yeah, I'm gonna be a millionaire and I'm gonna be so happy.
You gotta enjoy the journey, brother.
Yeah, it's like, what are you gonna do with $1 million after?
Yeah,
and I feel like you're really tied into your why, and I don't know. I like it because I resonate with that too. Like everything is to means to like do better for my family, enjoy more time to enjoy. It's just to be happy. It's not just like tied into the money. Like, oh yeah, I made a sale. Like. The process, the end goal.
We're gonna wrap up this podcast with one final question because Yanni, your life has been so like unconventional, so sporadic, you know, of going from single mom, quitting high school, going to college, getting into UC Berkeley, and then going through all these tech jobs and then quitting and now into real estate. If you can talk to your younger self, like what would you tell them, and would you do anything different?
I don't think I would do anything different because why live in regret? That's kind of stupid.
Yeah.
Or that's just a miserable way to live. But I think I would tell my younger self, and I would continue to tell myself today, like every decision that you're making, like go at it full force, like believe in it, even if you don't know why you're making it. I think people have like really strong like gut intuition, and it doesn't have to be like very concrete, your reasons as to why, or like have like a very drawn out plan. Just if you're going to choose something, go at it full force and believe in it. And it's okay to quit. So kind of something along those lines for sure.
There you have it, guys.
I love
Full
it.
force.
I love it. Full force, guys. Just know it's going to be okay. Whatever journey you're on, and it's going to be okay. But Yanni, thank you so much for being on the show. Where can everyone find you?
Yeah, so my Instagram handle is Home with Yanni. You can also find me on YouTube. It's just my full name. I just
Ooh.
made a YouTube literally
Yo,
like
let's
this
go.
week.
Congrats.
And I got 2 followers
Hey.
or 2 subscribers.
You're gonna get like 4 by the end of this right now.
Yeah.
I'm about to follow
Oh my
you.
gosh. So yeah, so those are the 2 places you can find me. You can also find me at the 50 Hills website or at Yanni at 50hills.com. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Right on. Catch you guys on the next episode.
Peace. Thank you.